Hi, and welcome to this meeting, a webinar designed to help you have a bigger impact at your golf facility. My name is Ian James. I'm the Chief Executive of RetailTribe. I am part of a company who are extremely passionate about the role of the PGA Professional. We're extremely passionate about growing participation, activity, revenues in the golf industry. And we think the PGA Professional is central to any hope we have to get golf growing again. In this webinar, we're going to cover the subject of Lovemarks. It's actually a book written by Kevin Roberts, which I commend to everybody to read. As I read this book, I was struck as I turned every page by how he was describing the brand relationship a PGA Professional can and should have with each of their golfers, and how that places the PGA Professional as the most powerful resource we have in the golf industry if we want to grow the game. Now, if you go online and read about the book, you will find the usual flowery language written about the book. I'm going to ask you really to move over that and let's get to the core of what this book is really about. It's about helping individuals or companies create a brand that is respected and loved by the consumer. Tom Peters, who's a great business mind, describes this as the best business book published in the first 5 years of the century. I can't comment on that other than to say that, as I said, as I read this book, every page talked to me about the opportunity PGA Professionals had to build their brand and build their impact for their facility and the golfers at their facility. The foundation and core of the book is really quite simple. Kevin Roberts, who wrote the book, describes this as the relationship between brands and consumers and how that's changed in the last 10 years. And he said consumers now see us on two dimensions, respect and love. They can either see you as like a very simple product supplier where you're like low love and low respect for you. There might be a fad, especially in the technology world where new things come and go, where love you for a little while, leave you quickly. Could be a brand who's been around for a long time, where there's a lot of respect, they need you, you serve a fundamental part of whatever business or operational process the person is trying to undertake. Or lastly, it might be that it's a brand and most desirable place to get to where there's a high level of love and respect for that brand. Roberts argues that Lovemarks is what we should be aspiring to be. Now, if I translate that in a simple metaphor in the golf industry, what he's saying to us is if we continue to see the world in terms of products, like a driver or a lesson or that sort of level, we're going to do ourselves no favors. If we want to remove discounting and be able to charge a premium rate, we need to drive the relationship the consumer has with us up to a higher level. And a driver, while I'm not here to teach you how to sell drivers, is a great metaphor. You know, sell any consumer a golfer a driver, and the key differential is going to be around product type things, so price. And you know there's no margin once you're competing on price. But if you're selling 20 extra yards on our tee shots, let me tell you as a golfer, we can fall in love with you because that's 20 yards we're going to experience every time. That's 20 yards you gave us. At that point, the worry about price or the concern about the premium cost starts to disappear. 20 extra yards makes a big difference to a golfer's life. And the same could be talked about one hop and stop on a wedge shot. We're not trying to buy a wedge. We're trying to buy something that helps us control the ball more effectively. We're not trying to buy a putter. We want to get the ball in the hole. You know, but we continually in our industry, I think, misunderstand what we're selling. We're so taken by the beauty or the technology of our products, we sell the product instead of thinking very carefully about what it is we can do to impact the consumer's life. So if we can impact the consumer's life, we get higher up that respect curve. But Roberts would argue that respect is just love in plain clothes, and then that affects your relationships long-term with consumers. The people might, with respect, it becomes a begrudging respect rather than a passionate love affair. I see this all the time with golf professionals when they produce videos. They're usually, even the very good ones, they're very technical of nature. They talk about swing plane, D-plane, all sorts of things around the golf swing and its technique. And at the end of it, you're left with no doubt that this golf instructor knows the business of a golf swing. And I guess in our minds, that means the consumer is more likely to come to us for a lesson. And you can't question it. The consumer is far more likely to come to somebody for a lesson and pay a premium fee if they respect their coach. So in terms of being better than selling lessons, no question. However, remember, we fall in love with people who make us feel better about ourselves. So if those videos were actually showing golfers who have a much better result and leave out the technical and focus on the impact for that golfer, then we're going to be better off. We're going to have actually moved the people into an emotional space where they identify and think, hey, I'd like that feeling, or I'd like that ability, or I'd like that joy. And when people feel emotions, Roberts argues, they are far more likely to take action. They might see the technical video and see that, okay, that first movement from the top is going to get me to swing on plane, and that leads to an inevitable conclusion that that's why I'm hitting the ball right. That has far likelihood of inspiring a customer off their couch to come and spend time with you than actually reading or seeing the joy, reading about or seeing the joy of a golfer who's now got a slight draw and hitting it 25, 30, 45 yards further. And by the way, you are capable of results like that. Now, Roberts sets out the difference, because it might seem tenuous, between the way a brand with a lot of respect and a love mark is perceived. And when I looked down this list, I just said, wow, just look at how much opportunity a PGA Professional has. Just look at what advantage the PGA Professional has over the mass market competitors in our industry. PGA Professional is all about intimate relationships. A PGA Professional enables people to get so much more out of the game. Any PGA Professional that's made that personal impact on us is somebody that we move from respecting to actually feeling genuine care about. A PGA Professional can create a love story, not just with us, but lots of love stories. And rather than make statements about their commitment to certain values or quality, they can tell us those stories, and we can see those stories, and we can feel those stories, and we want those stories for ourselves. A PGA Professional talks to us in ways that are tactile, physical, real, even sensual. And that might not be the greatest word for you, but even sensual. And by the way, we're in a very tactile, sensual industry where people want to hit a golf ball, feel it, see it, experience joy. So for a PGA Professional to be a love mark, I think, is their opportunity to differentiate themselves from anybody else. And actually, it's the secret to having a much better life at their facility. It comes back to the fact that you change lives. You are perfectly placed to change lives. Now, I accept in any community, there are people who are not going to like you. It's natural, that happens. But don't focus on them. Focus on each month increasing the number of golfers you engage with, the number of golfers you've impacted, because that will increase the number of golfers in your community who see you as a love mark. And if they see you as a love mark, you will be able to influence them, they will be loyal to you, and you'll be able to make a far greater impact for your employer, the facility. I hope this was of some use to you. As I said, you'll get much more out of reading the book. It's sensational design, fantastic story. As you read it, put on your glasses or put on the glasses of a PGA Professional. Great book. Thank you very much for listening to this webinar, and I hope it was useful to you.